What's going on, YouTube? Ryan again with RPK Customs. We're going to be looking at a Luke Return of the Jedi V3 today. Now, I just finished building this one a few days ago, so I thought I'd make a little video showing it off for Thin Neck Thursday. So this is my first ever V3 build. I've been wanting to make one of these really accurate V3 replicas for a long time, but it's always fallen on the back burner for one reason or another. And now that I have my own lathe here, it's easy for me to make the custom parts that I need for projects like this one. So there's really not much going on with this hilt. It's a fully static piece, so you can't install it with electronics, which is the way I prefer all my original trilogy replicas personally. But I spent a lot of time studying the reference photos of the actual prop, mostly for the imperfections around the neck area, which you can see there. And for those of you who don't know, the original V3 prop was cast. So this thing is riddled with imperfections and seam lines. So my goal was to replicate those imperfections the best I could with the reference photos I had. And I'll post comparison videos on my Facebook and Instagram pages so you guys can see the similarities. But the cast lines or the casting mistakes, I tried to sculpt in there as accurate as I could. And moving down the grenade section, you can see I put the accurate seam line in here, and I might go back up in there and clean this up, kind of make the seam line look a little bit more uneven in the rings, like we see in the reference photos. Now the clamp, I believe, is a custom saber shop, an old custom saber shop clamp. I can't really remember, honestly. I've had this clamp for a really long time, but I drilled the V3 holes myself. And I know Roman sells a really good V3 clamp replica, but I wanted the holes in mine to look a little bit more jagged and not perfect, like how they look in the reference photos. So I just decided to drill them myself. I also wrapped the clamp with the accurate foil tape. Now the clamp card is something that I actually made. I typically always use sloth furnace cards, but in one of the reference photos you can clearly make out, or maybe not clearly, but it really looks like they just used a piece of brass in here with strips of electrical tape. So I wanted to replicate that specific look. And I left that little small exposed piece of brass right there, just like you see in the actual prop. And I also weathered the brass just so it doesn't look, like shiny new brass. It looks like something that they actually used on set. I've also added real rust to the clamp lever here. I tried to get the same pattern that you can see in the reference photos with the rust. Now this is extremely durable. You can rub your finger on it all day long. You can unlock the clamp and excuse me, and you're not going to rub it off at all, but it will continue to rust over time and look even better with age. And I also added the accurate foil tape around the top and bottom of the pommel cubes here. And I aged the aluminum, not just here around the pommel cubes, but all of the exposed aluminum. You can clearly see in the reference photos that the aluminum is pretty dark compared to the foil tape. And unfortunately, I don't know if the lighting is really showing that off all that well, but it is darker. And hopefully the photos I took of this will show that off a little bit better. And the pommel cubes have the accurate dinged edges like you see in the reference photos. And the D-ring is a little bit different than what we see on the V2. I'll have to double check, but I believe this D-ring is the same D-ring used on the MPP Vader hilt. And I got this one at Wanawanga a while back just for this build. So now that I'm pretty comfortable around these V3s, I'm officially opening up commissions for them. If you have a hilt, a V3 that you would like me to finish like this one, you can message me on Facebook and Instagram at RPK Customs. If you don't have a Facebook or Instagram, I will link my email in the description below. Thanks for watching, team, and may the force be with you.